everybody, this is Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. What's happening? I'm going to need a 5x5 before I start really chugging into this, only to find out that nobody can hear me. That one always chaps my backside when that happens. Can I get a 5x5? And then we will get this thing underway. You know what I mean? Do me a favor, too, on the way in here, would you? And smack that like button around. Seriously, slap that thing like it's a Diddy. We want the algorithm to know that we're doing the Lord's work over here, calling out dirt bags. And we have a little more cowbell if it comes to it. Fear not, people. We have cowbell. Let's see what we got. It's going to be a short one. RSM, Bangkok baller. Do I think the Twins living large will be penniless? You bet, brother. You absolutely bet. The rate that these kids are spending cash, I think it's going to be a bad thing. Diddy is throwing money around, basically incinerating it. Because you know something? There's a great interview that was done with Freeway Ricky Ross. And if you don't know who Freeway Ricky Ross is, you should. But he was the biggest baller that ever balled when it came to that rock stuff that was made from the Bolivian marching powder. Kind of a legend in the system. But he's out and he's free. And they asked him about the Diddy case. And you know what he said? He said, Diddy should have got him a public defender. And the person laughed and he said, no, I'm serious. Because he's going to get the same sentence one way or the other. And that's the truth. All Diddy's doing right now is lighting a pile of money on fire. What he needed to do was soldier up for his family and walk in there and take the punishment that he had coming so that his family could recoup some of that cash. But it isn't going to happen because he ain't that guy. Jennifer Folsom. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I mean that. You know what, folks? We're going to delve into some terrain here that we've never been in. Right? This is going to be really weird stuff. Meredith Lynn, how are you? Kimberly White, good to see you. Hey, SMG Infinity, David Clark, Rachel Noah, right? His kids never really did anything to build up the cash. It was handed to them, so they have a lack of understanding. Boy, oh boy, is that not a fact, huh? Hey, D. Canuck, how are you? Tina Greeny, good to see you. Anka. Charlie Mullins, are you kidding me, man? Charlie Mullins, what's happening, brother? People, that is the first subscriber of the Lifeboat. Charlie Mullins, the actually pre-Lifeboat. Charlie has been with the channel longer than there's been a channel. He's family. He's a bit of a rock star. Don't always get him here in the morning shows, but it is always awesome when he's in the house. Charlie, I love you, my brother. I really do. Nappy from Canada. Chow Young Smut. Speaking of legends. Reed, how are you? Shadow Woman. And speaking of legends, where is my fiance? You know what? She's probably getting ready because when my show is over, she's going to be doing one. So that very well could be the case. And I don't know if you caught her last one, but man, oh man, some of that recording stuff. I'll be honest, I got to back out when it's on. It's so hard for me to listen to. It really is. It's very, very difficult to listen to it. I don't know if you've heard it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I apologize, but it's some really, really heavy stuff. I'm so happy to find the lifeboat. All right. I went through addiction and then the big C, and I am in a bad space right now. Being in a spot of like-minded people is helping me, but I wanted to celebrate my 7 years clean. 7 years clean? Jordan, congratulations on behalf of the Lifeboat. This is the official participation trophy of the Lifeboat. You can see that. It says on there, the Lifeboat. We pull this out whenever somebody does something that is epic. Like all of this Diddy stuff and these stupid Kardashians we're about to talk about. Honestly, those people have about this is far more important. It really is. God bless you. That's great stuff, Jordan. And I hope that you are as proud of yourself as we are of you. Ooh, putting out some Scientology audios today. Going after another filthy, disgusting cult that ruins people's lives and destroys families and dances on the edge of that human tea stuff in a really, really big way. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I know who Anthony is. Bangkok baller. Yeah, I would. I'd love to do content with that cat. I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, I will be there. I love the Scientology content. I have had conversations with my fiance, folks, that what's fiance's podcast? Can we, if you have a wrench, can we put a link up there to Relatable Reese, please? Or as I like to say, Real Table Reese. Hey, Lisa Trumbull, good to see you. How are you? Gina Reed, good to see you. Snake, thanks for the help. Appreciate you. My mustache is starting to drive me nuts. All right, people, let's fire this boat up, right? Let's fire this up because this is about as heavy as it gets. I have had you people reach out to me for, honestly, at least a year, maybe a little bit longer than that. Yeah, Anka, you nailed it too. That's an absolute fact. Shadow Woman, thank you so much. I have avoided the conversation of the family on the thumbnail. You know, those people. Their dad got O.J. Simpson. He was part of the legal team, the dream team that got O.J. Simpson acquitted of the murder of Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. Made a lot of money, became very, very famous. And of course, the family then got famous as well. And I've just avoided them because I think, honestly, it's trashy content. And I don't want to go after stuff because it's sensational, right? Like the Diddy thing is sensational, but there's a story here that's important. And it's been important because of things like the Jesters, right? It's important because of things like Scientology and places where control groups are screwing people and destroying families every day, and no one's doing anything about it, right? We've been making jokes about Scientology for 3 decades. And human tea is just as bad. Every day now, there's somebody else busted. And you know something? Now they're big names. Right now, it's not just nobodies. It's pretty creepy, right? But it's 2025. It's important. It's important that this stuff gets brought up and gets talked about. And for that reason, we're going to start talking about the Kardashians. And just threw up in my mouth a little bit, just having to go down that road and talk about it, right? But the truth of the matter is this. How did they get famous? Put a 2 in the chat if you know what really kicked off this whole Kardashian thing, right? I mean, of course, they had a very, very successful reality show, perhaps the most successful reality show, or one of them of all times, right? I think we can all agree on that. Shadow Woman, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate you. And you know what, people? I think that we just saw some hot sauce packets flying. If I'm not mistaken, I saw a couple of hot sauce packets. Thank you, Lisa Trimble. Look at that, throwing them out like hot sauce packets. If you just turned green, please take the time to thank Lisa Trimble for turning you green. And everybody, I've said this before, everybody looks considerably better in green. The sex tape, right? Schmex tape. Thank you again, Lisa Trimble. The Schmex tape thing, right? This is what really put them on the map. Does everybody remember this? Yeah, it was Kim's. Toby Sprosty says it was a Kim tape. Yes, it was. Hello, Rusty Glider. Good to see you. Yeah, see, this is everybody kind of remembers this, right? We all got this. Yeah, the point with Ray J. Well, Kim's got some skills, right? We saw that on video. Pretty disgusting that that's how she got famous. Do you agree? It's not the kind of talent that normally people. Thank you, Franklin. Hey, and it's good to see you, Franklin MC. I'm glad you're here. And thank you for tossing out some of those hot sauce packets. This is one of, the Osbournes show was pretty fantastic in that realm as well. Here's the thing. Do you remember how that tape got out? Huh? Do you remember how this tape got out? Nothing wrong with skills. No, I am not disparaging anyone with skills. Skills are good, as Johnny Scoville would say. Allegedly. So the tape got leaked, right? See, but I got the smartest audience in North America. Thank you again, Franklin, my friend. I remember the OJ trial too, Carol. I watched, that was one of my first deep dives ever. I didn't miss a day. At the time, I was having some really, really bad problems in life. And maybe someday I'll tell that story. But I was in bad shape and couldn't really get out, do anything. Melon's wifey, good to see you. Glad you're here. Mama leaked this tape, right? Now, here's the thing. The word leak usually leads you to believe that this was something you weren't planning on. There was a leak that got out. This wasn't a leak, right? Allegedly. Where do we 10 minutes and 20 seconds in, and it is allegedly time, right? It's big time allegedly time, because you know what is being alleged is that no, they shot this from 3 different camera angles. They did multiple shoots of this corn production that they did. And mom sat down and watched the man who she approved of, first. She watched him having intercourse and all other kinds of fun with her daughter. And then she picked which of the three was the best angle and the best production value to make Kim look fantastic. She directed her daughter in a corn film. I'm sorry, what? Look, I love the dollar as much as the next guy, right? Making a living, everybody's got to do it, right? It's one of those things that everyone must do. But there really is a lot of talk going around about people selling their souls. And I know a lot of people have a problem with this conceptually, right? Because we think of the Devil and Daniel Webster, and we think of these movies, what's the one that me and my fiance just watched? With the terrible acting. Help me, Quibs. You know which movie I'm talking about. But these movies where there's this pivotal point where you have to, I make you a promise. Whether he shows up in your kitchen with a hay fork, right, and a bifurcated tail and a contract for you to sign, whether that happens or not, when you help produce a film of your daughter doing that, and then you watch this happen, you direct this, you look at it. If any of this is true, you made a deal with the devil. Trust and believe you made a deal with the devil, right? Whether he showed up or not, you have sold out. You know what's crazy too? This is funny as hell. This is honestly, this is one of the funniest things ever. Yeah, what was the name of the movie that we just watched or recently watched? You know the one I'm talking about, Quibs. Help me. Terrible acting. Keanu Reeves is in it. I don't lose. You know that one. I actually wish Quibs was on right now because she does a pretty good imitation of how bad his accent is in that. It's absolutely horrible. Hey, Rain Virus, devil's advocate. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. But whether or not there's that kind of, situation where he's standing there in your kitchen, they sold their souls. They made their money by pimping their daughter to the world. Allegedly, this is just coming out, but allegedly, there was a contract. Everything was drawn up so that, Ray and her and everybody else, everybody was going to be protected in this because there was a contract that was allegedly filled out on all of this. Do you know who helped with that contract? Can't make this stuff up. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. Yeah. The diddler helped Chris put all that together, allegedly. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're right. And I think it was on the previous time that we were together, Quibs, but you knew which. My memory's not what it used to be. Sadly. Noah Wright says what everyone else is thinking. Imagine pimping out your daughter for cash. Not once, right? But as many times as possible, because we're going to get into this and it's about to get worse. Saw a podcast today that said after the little ones are unalived individuals that they are then incinerated in diamonds. Pearl, that's the most hideous thing I've ever seen. If you come across that, send me the link. I would like to read that. I would be, I'd be fascinated to look at that. So listen, this gets worse. A lot of us are of an age, right? My fiance has a child that's coming into that age, right around the time when you can start driving an automobile, right? Hey, Whoopi, we're going to hammer on that too, my friend. Don't go anywhere because we are going to talk all about Chris's lovely church. I promise, right? I promise. But 16 years old, you start getting into that age where you can start to drive an automobile. And a lot of the daughters of this family allegedly started driving cars way before then. Because when you live in that really, stupid kind of affluent neighborhood, chances are if the cops pull you over, they know who your parents are. They know how friggin' rich they are. And they probably just sort of let that kind of thing go. Because I was listening to a lot of tape of these people, which, by the way, is akin to sitting in a dentist chair and having them drill a tooth for a cavity. Not with a dental drill, but with one of those impact drills that you use to get into concrete in your garage. That's what it's like watching that family. Honest to goodness. There's so many things I would rather do, including having a root canal. Nevertheless, they were arguing about the fact that Chloe had been cruising around the neighborhood in a vehicle prior to having a driver's license. She's about 15 or whatever. Do you know what she did at 16? Somebody tossed this up because I got the audience from heaven, right? I know that you guys know where I'm going with this because you guys do the same kind of deep diving all of the time, right? Yes, without anesthesia. To be sure, without anesthesia. Well, kids get into rock bands. Some people toured with the Dead. Well, when Chloe was 16, she went on tour, right? She toured around the country, right? With a musical act. Yeah, she went on tour with Diddy, right? So, because what set of Parents of the Year don't think that sending your 16-year-old daughter on tour with Sean Puff Daddy Combs isn't a really great idea? So, I avoided this subject because I don't see any smoke, right? And if I don't see smoke, I'm probably not going to start chasing it down. I mean, you can get one shot off of something like this and you can get some views and you put up a family's name or whatever. But if you want to actually find something, like I can get into Diddy because I can keep researching it. This family, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. So what we're doing today, I promise you, is we're coming here to say we're going to have a lot more fun with this family, right? There is some the amount of smoke now that I'm in here and looking. So let's start with this fun just for giggles. We can blow off the fact that they let their 16-year-old daughter tour with Diddy, right? This Chris in her infinite wisdom thought this was a good idea. The term pimping out starts taking on a whole new meaning, right? By the way, you notice I'm not dropping a lot of allegedly on that particular subject because it is on film. They're on there talking about it. You can hear Bruce Jenner talking about it. Back when when you were 16, you were touring with Diddy. What the hell for? What do you think? Backup singer? What was she doing with Diddy? Makeup? Honestly, can you imagine letting I'm not picking on Diddy because we're looking at Diddy through 2025 eyes, right? We're not looking at Diddy through the 90s or whatever this was going on. But that matters not, right? Pick anybody. For real. Elton John, right? Probably not much chance of Elton John hitting on your daughter. But I wouldn't want my 16-year-old on tour with Elton John. Right? Have you ever been around a rock concert? Right? And a hip-hop concert ain't going to be any better. But backstage gets a little rowdy. Right? Backstage. The term backstage makes people go, ooh, right? Roadies, chemicals, tons of alcohol, ridiculous rider lists of all the things they want. When Guns N' Roses was touring with AC/DC, they required 2 hot tubs backstage. The kind of things that go on backstage very often end up in really terrible lawsuits. Thank you, right? Chris did write a book after OJ killed Nicole. It's bizarre. Rusty Glider, I read that book. Yeah, Chris. Oh, Chris, that's so bad I might have to put it up. Chris says they might have been fluffers, right? Maybe she was fluffing. And if you don't know what that means, well, then that's a good thing. I promise you. Who has more money, Diddy or the Kardashians? Well, I got news for you on that one. It's funny you ask, because that kind of thing occurred to me earlier on when I was starting to fart around with this. Because it seems to me that these people are just a pinch sleazier than your next family. By the way, I don't mean the next family in your neighborhood. I mean the next family in Hollywood. These people are kind of evil that you don't run across often, in my opinion. Did you catch that? That would be in my opinion. As of August of 2024, the richest of all of the Kardashians would be Kim. Based, largely on the leaked Smex tape. You know, the one that the lighting was perfect for, and they got the right camera angles because they had multiple cameras. And then mom sat in the kitchen, allegedly looking at all three. Good God. I would rather sit in the garage, crank the car up, close all the doors, than watch my daughter or my son, for that matter. That is one of the most disturbing concepts I've ever heard in my life. Honestly, it's so hard to wrap my brain around. Anyway, Kim is worth $1.7 billion. That, people, is a stink load of money, right? Please let's not. It's hard sometimes. That word billion comes out too quick. I prefer to call it 1,000 million because that just paints a different picture, doesn't it? So she's got $1,700 $1 million bills. The ends are meeting. You know what I mean? The ends done shot by each other a long time ago. That's a lot of money. Kylie comes in second with $710 million, which, you know, you got to feel bad for her because they had leaked it out that she was a billionaire. And it must be very embarrassing, right? For the world to think you're a billionaire when you're not quite old enough to drink yet or wherever she's at, only to find out you're worth a mere 710. So she's in the same ballpark as Diddy, right? She's in the same ballpark as Diddy. And then it's a big step down. Mom, Kris Jenner, is worth a measly $170 million. If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you. Of everybody in that family, that woman's going to be the one that's got to be the one with all of the cash. She's pulling all the strings, right? That's a weird lady, folks. That is a weird lady. What did they have to do for that? Hold on. Then from there, we go down to Kourtney, who has $65 million. And every time you see Kourtney on film, she looks a little bit disgusting. I mean, disgusted, rather. I'm terribly sorry. She looks a little bit disgusted. She's got that look on her face like, man, how did I get into this? Right? I think that there are parts of that family is probably fed up with being that family, in my opinion. And then you've got, so Kourtney's coming in at $65 million. Khloe and Kendall got $60 million in the bank each. Yeah. Caitlyn Jenner, reportedly worth $25 million, down dramatically from a high of $100 million in 2022. And brother Rob is damn near broke with a net worth of a mere $10 million, which is sad, right? I don't know if I always believe all those numbers, though, right? Because if all of the numbers that you read whenever you Google someone's net worth is actually real, then Johnny Scoville better come correct with a Ferrari, right? That man better buy me a really nice Italian car. A lot of those numbers seem a little trumped up to me. I'm just saying. It's good to plan ahead for Valentine's Day. She's in here and she's politicking. Hey, Rain Virus, good to see you. Yeah, it's hard to like the family. I'm honestly, it really is. Where are the assets hidden? Well, I'm glad that you asked, Christy. I'm glad that you asked. You know, it almost, if you didn't know better, you would think that I had a couple of plants because you guys ask perfect questions and it always steers things in the right direction. Then I don't always remember, but it's just that I have a really awesome audience because I think you guys know where the money's hidden. Put a 2 in the chat if you have a theory on how they're laundering this money. No, we will not be getting married on Valentine's Day. It wouldn't really, it wouldn't work with everything else that we have done. No, she's just planning for some, I need some, I do need a gift though. By the way, Mercury Hatter, love that name. Love that name. Huge fan of the Mad Hatter. Yeah, that's right. Right? That's right. They have a church. Kris Jenner has co-founded a church. And like so many other people before her, I assume that she has come to the realization that they can't really tax you. Now, it has been alleged that Diddy has made massive donations to this church. There are a lot of very well-known Hollywood elites that attend this church. I got her a beautiful necklace watch, actually, already. You would not believe it. It's a blue baked enamel one. That's honestly, it's absolutely amazing. It's a beautiful piece, and it's in beautiful shapes. It has a crucifix on one side, has a cross on the other. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, a church. Now look, I know that a lot of people have done a deep dive on this in the past, right? A lot of people have done a deep dive on this and have a pretty good idea of some of this stuff. But for some people, right, this is the first time they're hearing this. For some people, they were today years old when they found out that the world is allowing Kris Kardashian to run a church. By the way, you know what their motto is? It's not in Latin or anything cool like that, but they've got a motto for the church. Did you know what their motto is? No perfect people here. Yeah. California Community Church. No perfect people here. Boy, they nailed that, didn't they? They nailed that. You know something? Honestly, people. Okay, I admit it. They're all setups, but you got to admit they're perfectly segued so that I could go from one subject. No, they really aren't. But this is exactly what is being alleged, right? Allegedly. The Kardashians allegedly have been knocking off, financially, knocking off people who are knocking at the door with these Diddy cases, the really bad ones. Correct, Mercury Hatter. That would be her partner, Pastor Brad Johnson. No perfect people here. Apparently, he's not perfect either. I don't know the cat, but they said no perfect people here. I kind of like that. I'm not perfect either, right? Right? I'm not perfect either. Yeah, you know what? Sorry, people, but I dig that comment. Lou Taylor says 9 men. Let me tell you something. I had somebody mention Lou Taylor. There is a Turner. I'm going to screw this up. Anyway, after a show that I did, somebody had brought up Lou, and I looked up this woman. And this woman was not only involved in, look at you people. You guys are friggin' incredible. Lou Taylor is getting it all along with Kris. She was involved in Britney Spears and several other celebrities. And when she says involved in, what they mean by involved in is they had a hand in setting up the conservatorship for Britney Spears. So remember the Free Britney movement? Everybody that wanted Britney to be able to get back some of her life because it seemed as if she was put on a treadmill by people that were spending her money, and right? That's how it appeared to a lot of the people on planet Earth. And there was this whole Free Britney Spears movement. If you have followed that at all, you were trying to free Britney Spears from, allegedly, Lou Taylor. And in theory, Lou has some kind of a business that is a management company for actors and athletes and people like that. That's in theory. By the way, allegedly, deeply tied up in this church as well. She comes off really creepy looking. And I don't mean visually, people. I don't care about any of that crap. I mean, when you start to pull all the stuff back on this Lou lady, she's creepy. She's really, really creepy. It's you know what? This is something that really needs to be this is something that needs to be understood maybe a little bit better, right? Because this is going to be germane to a whole lot of crap that's going on in all of 2025. But I think it's worth taking a look at the way that these human T laws are actually written up, right? Because, and I talked about this on the show last night, when someone says that someone's being human T'd, we get this image in our heads of somebody that's coming across the border that gets thrown into the back of a van, and then they get driven out to somewhere where somebody hands a bag of money over to somebody and takes possession of that woman or that child or that boy or whatever, right? That's the image that most of us get in our heads. And and absolutely 100%, that would be human T in the most vicious and basic of forms. But it's not the majority of the cases. In the majority of the cases, It's done through things like where somebody says, I get you to the other side of the border, you wear wristbands. And when you get to the other side of the border, that wristband tells the people who help smuggle you across how much money you still owe the cartels, right? Who are really the people who are responsible for all of the vast majority of the smuggling. They do now. They don't take anybody honing in on that turf, so to speak, right? The wristband will tell the people on the American side of the border how much time you owe, and you can end up working at a massage parlor, or you could end up doing a lot worse, right? But some of the people that are coming across that border that are lost, we talk about the hundreds of thousands of lost people. And by the way, don't send me hate mail telling me how every single one of those people have been sold. I'm not downplaying this. This is a worse tragedy than anybody has any idea, even when we throw out the numbers. And if one was being sold, then it's too many, right? But the reality is this. There's a lot of people that come across that border that don't owe any time. And I heard one of the dumbest arguments I ever heard where somebody, a politician actually said, everybody owes. You never see anybody come across without a wristband. And that's because every single person owes to some degree. If somebody came across without a wristband and that was able to fly, then everybody would jack their wristband off on the way across the journey. One of those colors will designate that the person owes nothing. Chances are their family, whoever paid to get them across, has a lot of cash, or they're tied up with the cartel. And those people could end up in a lovely suburb of Denver, living with a family and doing well. The scary part is we don't have any idea how many people end up in a house with some people that care about them versus people that end up like those two kids that were adopted that we did a show on last week, right? But if you entice somebody to go to another state for the purpose of snacks and cash is involved, that's human tea. Enticing them, right? Tricking them, recruiting them. When you start to look at how they describe this, right? You've seen the shows that I've done with my fiance. We talk about the jesters, right? This is now where the rubber meets the road, right? With Diddy, with Voldemort, with anybody, right? In 2025, this is where the rubber meets the road because it isn't, and I don't care anymore. It's a, hey, laws are being broken. So when we were on here and we were talking about how these guys said, yeah, this girl's got a nice rack. I slept with her when I was in Chicago. She's got 2 kids, so she kind of needs the realm, right? They're recruiting somebody to go to another place and get paid to have smecks. That's human tea. Booyah. Like, there's no arguing this. That's what that is. It reads in there, right? If you're recruiting people, well, how do you get them there? Well, we offer them cash. Yeah, we call that enticement, right? Or like when they were in South America and they said to these women, hey, all we want you to do is clean the boat and we'll pay you $20 a day. It's a lot of money. American dollars, that really is a lot of money. But that's not why they were getting them on the boat. See, they were tricking them. You understand? That's another form. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because it is alleged that this family is so tied up in every single aspect of this that currently, to try to protect their brand, it is being alleged that they're using a hell of a lot of their money to try to smooth out these people that are going after the diddler. Can you wrap your dome around this? If 1/10 of what is being alleged, and by the way, whether you believe it or not, I don't show up with BS if I can avoid it. Right? I don't chase down. I mean, the stories. If I just grab the headlines, I could talk to you about how the Diddy mansions have burned down, and we could just run with some of this BS, right? But the Kardashians ain't BS. Their relationships with people like Lou Taylor, or their relationships with people like Corey Gamble, and you're just going to have to bear with the channel. I don't like this family. They're not fun to talk about. They're really not. But we got to talk about this family. There is so much of the Diddyverse that is tied up in this family. Look, if the allegations are real, then the Smex tape that didn't get leaked, that the mother sat and did a edit on with the daughter, good Lord, right? The diddler was in there in the middle of it. Hold on one second. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up here. Jennifer Folsom, thank you so much. You did make another live. The Kardashians are talentless. What is this? Thank you so much, Jennifer Folsom. The Kardashians are talentless. I missed it. It was funny as hell though. Because they are. I'm sorry. What do they do? What do they do? This is another one of those groups of people who are famous for being famous, right? They don't actually do anything, right? I did watch Chopper on the Out of Dialogue. I did. There's one of them saying everyone, yes, Lisa Pritchard. Okay, so this is another thing. As you start to go through the Kardashian stuff, there are so many examples of where Diddy weaves in and out of this family. Again, how much faith in this guy do you have as a mom if you give your daughter to him at 16? 16. Handed her daughter to Sean Combs, not to hang out at the house, which would be creepy. No, to go on tour, right? You think she was doing drugs and drinking? Put a 2 in the chat if you think she was maybe partying a little bit. Huh? Put a deuce in the chat. Yes. There are pictures of Corey Gamble. There are pictures of Corey Gamble in 2018, November, at Kim Porter's home the day of her passing. And allegedly, anybody that you know that's famous who, allegedly this dude shows up. I think a lot of places where people have just passed away. People, this is going to be the most complex year. I'm telling you, for anybody that's actually trying to pay attention to the weird world that we live in. Yeah, Sassy Savage. You know what? I'm sorry, but this right here. A soul set free to fly says, I am so happy I am normal. Yes! Good for you. I love that. Sassy Savage. This is the official participation trophy of the Lifeboat. And this time we're giving it out for what I believe to possibly be the best comment of the day. It's sad how many girls have looked up to these sisters for years, either wanting to be social media famous or copying their butts to looks. You know, buying their products to try to look that way. Do you know how many people in this country had butt augmentation, right? Because of Kim Kardashian? Had butt implants, right? Were so unhappy that they needed to get their backside fixed. If my fiance is still here, you're good. You need no help. Didn't they get caught lying? Look, this family has gotten caught doing. Yeah, we know they lied, right? We know they lied allegedly. Allegedly, we know they lied about that videotape, right? And that's the entire thing. And the butt is weird, right? I'm not a big fan of that. Barbara Waite says, I grew up in Beaver Cleaver's house. So did I, actually. You may not believe that, but I did. I didn't go out to parties and do a lot of that stuff. Not until I was older. According to my friends, and I couldn't even go on a date until I was 16. And you know what? And you're here with us, Barbara. Thank God, right? I agree with you. Here's the thing. I don't bag on people's bodies. As a rule of thumb, I don't do the whole body shaming thing. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Right, but I am not a fan of her body type. That's all I will say about that. I am not at all a fan of her body type. It creeps me out, to be honest. Robbie, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I really do. At least we went on dates. They're not doing that anymore. I don't think this is not a joke. People don't go on dates anymore. Kids skip proms. People aren't getting licenses. We're going to do a show on. It's pretty bizarre. What's going on. It really is. You know what? there's been a lot of smoke about Khloe Kardashian being the son of O.J. Simpson, right? When I see their moms, it reminds me of Kenny Everett doing it. Oh, you were that close to the trophy for that one. If you pull up OJ's daughter and Khloe, yeah, they look a lot, right? They look a lot alike. By the way, because through the process of deep diving this family, hold on, where's that part? Okay. Through the process of deep diving this family, I had to go to look at a bunch of shows. I'm trying to track Diddy content down, and it's not like it's a little bit more difficult than all that. You kind of got to sit through some of these shows. And they talked about this at length, and but they claim that that they have been tested and all that. I don't know if I believe it, but Hollywood is burning to the ground. Literally, I do not think it's funny at all. Just finding the timing crazy and coincidental. You know what? Allow me to defend you ASAP, Lizzie. While I feel for everybody that is in the Hollywood Hills losing their home, it is damn near impossible for anybody that has been watching this for any length of time to not go, kind of does look like a little fire and brimstone, right? Kind of looks like some wrath of God kind of crap. And that's all I'm saying. And a lot of people have commented on it, and I don't think it's necessarily a disrespectful comment. Yeah, Lamar Odom said when he got out of his coma, he didn't do any drugs. Well, here's what I'm doing, right? I'm hoping that what this is, because I'm going to be doing a short show here. It's going to be, I've got so many things. Don't worry. Don't bail now because I'm not done. But this is going to take 15, 20 hours. I kid you not. This is going to take so much time that you would not believe because it's Roberta, love to you, Tommy, and your little fiance too. I love the way you put that. Obviously a fan of great cinema. Look at this. I got engaged at 17 and my boyfriend could only come over on Sundays for the afternoon, and I sat on one sofa and my boyfriend another, and my parents present or one of my siblings. I'm 60. God bless you. You know what? Didn't kill any of us, did it? For real. So listen, with this family, if we just start from the fact that mom went out and found a dude and literally picking things down to like the size of his junk, right? Alleged all of this took place, that there was a contract and all of that. How demented, how badly do you need to crave not money? Not money. I'm sorry, you don't think Bob took care of them before he passed? I promise you, they were not wanting for money. And then she marries the guy that was on the Wheaties box, right? And don't worry, I got no jokes about that or anything else. It's low-hanging fruit, and it makes no difference to me at all what Bruce Jenner decides to do. It is now her life, right? And honestly, Caitlyn Jenner says some of the smartest things that come out of people's mouths. Truthfully, I've heard some really intelligent things come out of her mouth. And I don't have a problem with the her thing. I know some people really freak out about that stuff. Who flipping cares if somebody wants to be whatever they want to be? Your freedom is sacrosanct. You should be able to do whatever you want. Don't you agree? Unless, however, your freedom comes onto my freedom. Feel me? Like, I would never call somebody that was living as a female, I would never call them by a different gender. It would be cold-hearted and nasty. I would never do that. But if you try to make it legal and mandate that I do that, I would instantly start doing that. No one's ever going to tell me anything I can say in speech. You know what I mean? Getting out of prison, I kind of take that crap seriously. There are so many things about this family, right? So let's do this real quick, and we'll tick off some of the best conspiracy theories going with this family. Because one of the best conspiracy theories going, and this is allegedly about 150 to 300 million, depending on which source you listen to, that was stolen from Britney Spears during that conservatorship, ended up getting funneled through this new church of the wackadoo, right? No good people here. What's the name of it? Hold on. I forgot their motto. I think it was, there's not a good person here. No perfect people here. I was close. I was close. Lovely Mark says, Allie Carter warned us of explosions and fires to burn evidence. She did. She absolutely did. Now, this is I get people hate me every time I do this, but I think part of what I do is try to bring my logic to whatever. Right now, I got to just say this. I personally don't believe these fires were set to remove evidence. It doesn't make any sense from just a straight crime standpoint. First of all, there's no guarantee unless you set the house that you need to burn on fire that you're going to get what you're after, right? And if you're going to go set the house that you need to burn on fire, well, then you might want to take 2 or 3 out or whatever, but to burn half of the city down, right? This was a big operation. Allegedly now, there are 2 or 3 people that are being hemmed up in this thing, right? So while I am willing to entertain any idea, right? We live in the United States of America. Now, if you're in another country, it may be a little bit less obvious, but to predict fires coming, I lived in fire season. I mean, I lived in Fireville in America, and every single year the fires come without fail every year, right? So I'm not saying anything negative about that, but to predict that fire season is coming is not a unbelievable stretch. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a jackwagon. And I tend to agree with her across the board. But the problem becomes that I'm not ever going to allow this place to be an echo chamber, right? I'm not. I think this is far more likely. And this is why you talk about things from both sides so that people say intelligent stuff. Barbara says, it was a good time for opportunists, though, right? As long as you still had fire coverage. In other words, let's say that these fires started or not. And sometimes people start fires because they're sick, right? Usually pyromaniacs are not, they need mental help, right? This is a sickness. Now, I'm not saying this was done by a pyromaniac. And I'm sure that you saw the clip of film that was run on TMZ yesterday where you saw a guy in Topanga Canyon. I think it was Topanga Canyon, if I'm not mistaken. And one of the homeowners calls out a hiker and he's like, hey, what the hell are you doing here? The guy's hiking on a path that had just been blown through by a bulldozer to strip fuel from the fire. They'll bring in bulldozers and just bulldoze everything that's, has any kind of fuel, wood, anything, underbrush. And this guy's walking that trail, smoke all the hell over the place with a backpack on. And when the guy says to him, hey, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I'm just trying to get back to the road. He's like, yeah, but from where? What are you doing? He's like, well, I'm just out here. He's like, my brother lives here. He's like, what's your brother's name? And he goes, I'd rather not say. And the homeowner, I felt like I'd done everything the homeowner was doing. And as he's filming him, you can see him doing this one. He's looking for the path to get down to this fool. Like you could see him looking for a way that he could get down to the guy because he's like, hey, I'm just trying to protect my neighborhood. He goes, what you got in your backpack? And the dude says, I swear to God, nothing, just supplies and stuff like that. It's not like I got lighter fluid in there or anything. Huh? What are you kidding me? Hey, it's way too late for that, mate. Easy with the right comment. Good God in heaven, man. You know how long I've been saying right? Yeah, I've had 400 people try to break me of that habit, bro. Wish I could help you, but it probably ain't going to happen. It's one of those things I got kind of in my wheelhouse. Yeah, this is, we know this happens in every fire. We got people that go in there and start looting. Those are opportunists. We also have people that maybe you got a property that doesn't have a lot of property inside it. And there are people who will burn their thing to the ground because they've got the cover of the fire, right? I mean, normally if you start a fire, they'll go, well, it looks like a fire was started. Well, of course. I mean, this is, you can torch your house a whole lot easier. And now landslides are adding to it, says Rain Virus. And that's one of the biggest problems after stuff like this is that once all of those trees and everything else burn out, you start to, there are no properties, there's no anything there anymore to stop that. And that's awful, man. Terra Glider, I hope that most people are saying I wouldn't let my kids watch the Kardashians. That really would be a pretty decent thing. Wolfie says, I'd be sitting in my house with a shotgun. I don't blame you. Sorry, people, hold on 1 second. All right, sorry. And with that, I'm gonna be wrapping this thing up. That was a text message. That's a text message, sadly, from somebody that needs assistance, and this individual is somebody that I work with one-on-one with substances and whatnot. And this happens from time to time. And as much as I love doing what I do here, the trying to help people get sober is why I started this channel. So we're going to shut this thing down so that I can get a hold of this person. You can do me a favor, though, right? You can do me a favor. On the way out, smack the like button on the way out. Could you do that for me? It helps the algorithm. And if you head over to Relatable Reese, I will probably meet you all over there right after I take care of this person, because my fiance is going live right now. And you know what? You would make me look like a really good fiance if 590 of you went over there and said, hey, Tommy just said to come over here. In fact, all of you should write, Tommy just told me to come over here. And then throw a right after. Have a great day, everybody. Between now and the next time I see you, reach out and try to save somebody. Have a good one.